Hi everyone, welcome to the Simpro Alerts webinar. My name is Kim Mendoza, a solutions consultant here at Simpro, and I'll be facilitating this webinar. I'll be taking you through Simpro Alerts and how to effectively manage them so that you can make informed decisions and adjustments to your system. The beauty of doing this pre-recorded is that you can pause me or rewind me at any time, and I'll be happy to repeat myself. If the topic doesn't bother you, you can fast forward me as much as you need. Now, on today's agenda, we'll explore the importance of alerts, where to find alerts, alert settings, and how to manage different types of alerts. On the screen are some examples that I'll be going through today, as well as leads, orders, supplier invoices, customers, and data feed. Simpro alerts inform you about important events within your system that require attention, such as due dates, low stock levels, and job cards that need to be approved, and more. It's important to effectively manage your Simpro alerts as it enhances customer satisfaction, ensures compliance, and maintains operational efficiency. You may not be managing your Simpro alerts effectively, resulting in 99 plus alerts. This is called alert fatigue. As a result, important alerts may be overlooked, increasing the risk of missing critical information or issues that require your immediate attention. Alerts can be found on your Simpro dashboard. This gives you a summary of alerts within your system. When you click on the alerts, Simpro will take you to the alerts page. Alerts can also be found on the top right-hand corner in the systems menu. Regardless of where you navigate within Simpro, you will always see the bell with a red number. This number tells you how many alerts you have in the system. Alerts are based on security groups. If your security group enables you to access jobs, you see job alerts, such as due dates and job card approvals. If your security group enables you to manage stock, you see stock level alerts. When you view the alerts page, there are two views. My Alerts Only displays alerts that are assigned to you, whereas All Alerts displays all system alerts regardless of who they are assigned to. For most date-driven alerts, you can adjust the number of days before Simpro alerts you within your system defaults. I will discuss other settings as we dive deeper into the different types of alerts. Now, let's have a look at how to manage the different types of alerts within Simpro. First up, we have a recurring job due alert as highlighted in this screenshot. This is triggered when a recurring job template has been created and the next due date falls within the default system alert timeframe. To clear this alert, you must create a job for the next recurring frequency, skip the period, archive, or delete the recurring job template. Please note that deleting is a permanent action and it cannot be undone. Similarly, we also have a recurring invoice due alert. This is also triggered when a recurring invoice template has been created and the next due date falls within the default system alert timeframe. So let's have a look at this on Simpro. Like our recurring jobs, to clear this alert, you must create an invoice for the next recurring frequency, skip the period, or archive or delete the recurring invoice template. Now, if you have a lot of recurring jobs or recurring invoices to manage, you can utilize the Select All Due or the Select All button to create these, skip these, or archive or delete in bulk. So for this example, we'll select all that are due, create the invoices, and create them. Coming into our recurring jobs, for this one, I'll select all those that are due, and I've decided that I don't want to do the monthly service works, and I'll skip the period. So now when we have a look at our alerts, we have now cleared out those recurring. Overall, ignoring recurring alerts could lead to missed preventative maintenance jobs or invoices, resulting in customer dissatisfaction and lost revenue. By monitoring these alerts, it ensures jobs and invoices are created on time, avoids disruptions, and provides consistent customer service. Moving on to leads. Highlighted, you can see we have lead due alerts. This alert is triggered when a lead is created with a follow-up date that falls within the default system alert timeframe. The My Alerts view will display leads where you are assigned as the salesperson or the project manager, whereas all alerts will display all leads that are due, regardless of whether you are assigned to it. To clear this alert, you must update or remove the follow-up date, convert the lead to a quote or a job, or archive or delete the lead. Remember that deleting is a permanent action that cannot be undone. If you have multiple leads that you are unable to action, you can update the follow-up dates in bulk by using the Select All option at the bottom of the leads table, adjusting the date, and then clicking Update. We also have lead note follow-up alerts. This is triggered when a note has been added to a lead with a follow-up date that falls within the default system alert timeframe. The note must be assigned to you in order to receive the alert. To clear this alert, you must update or remove the follow-up date, or click Dismiss against the alert. Notes are the only alerts that can be cleared from the Simpro Alerts page, so it is important that you action it or take note of it before you dismiss it. So onto Simpro, we have 2 leads that are due. To clear these in bulk, we can go into our leads, and from here we can tick them. We can convert them in bulk to quotes or jobs, archive or delete. However, let's say I don't have time to follow these up this month. So we can flick it across to mid-July and update that. Back in our alerts, we've got one more lead note. So from here, we must take note of it or action it. And once we've done that, we can then click Dismiss to clear that alert. So overall, ignoring lead alerts means you are potentially missing out on new business opportunities. By actioning your lead follow-up alerts, it optimizes the sales process as it gives you a competitive advantage, builds customer trust, and ultimately drives business growth. Now, if a lead progresses to the next stage, it can then be converted to a quote, which brings us to our quote alerts. The first alert we have is a quote waiting for approval. It's important to note that this alert is related to an internal approval process. Quotes have 3 stages. The in progress stage indicates that the salesperson is still working on the quote. The complete stage indicates that the salesperson has now completed the quote and is waiting for their manager to approve it before emailing it to the customer. Once a quote has been marked as completed, an alert will appear to initiate internal approval, which is the last stage. The approved stage is where the manager has now approved the quote and is ready to be emailed to the customer. To clear this alert, you must change the quote stage to approved. This is done within the quote under the settings tab. Approval limits can be set for different security groups. However, if this does not reflect your workflow, you can update this in your system defaults and change the quote stage to approved. So we can go to our defaults, come down, and here we can change our quote stage to in progress or approved, and you will no longer receive those alerts. We also have quote due alerts as highlighted in the screenshot. This alert is triggered when a quote has been created with a due date that falls within the default system alert timeframe. To clear this alert, you must update or remove the due date, convert the quote to a job, or archive or delete the quote. Due dates can be updated in bulk by using the Select All option at the bottom of the quotes table, adjusting the date, and then clicking Update. If the quote due date field is mandatory, you can turn this off by navigating to Setup, Defaults, and then untick Mandatory Due Date on Creation for service or project quotes. So this here is where you'll untick service quotes and project quotes, so you can remove that mandatory field. Now, if you have given your customer access to your Simpro customer portal, they may have the ability to request quotes. If a customer requests a quote in the customer portal, it will show in the alerts as a quote due alert. Clearing this alert is the same as clearing your quote due alerts. You must update or remove the due date, convert the quote to a job, or archive or delete the quote. If required, this can be done in bulk. Next alert is a quote rejected alert. This alert is triggered when a quote has been rejected via your Simpro customer portal. To clear this alert, all you need to do is open the quote and then click Save and Finish. Quotes can be hidden from customers by adjusting your Simpro customer portal settings. This can be done under your system defaults. You can also create a different quote status and link it to the quote has been declined in the customer portal automatic trigger. This is done under your system setup in status codes. On the other hand, we have the quote accepted alert. The alert is triggered when a quote has been accepted via your Simpro customer portal or via an online quote. To clear this alert, you must convert the quote to a job, merge the quote to an existing quote or job, or archive the quote. Please note that once a quote is merged, this quote appears in your archived quotes table view. You're probably wondering how to create an online quote. This is done using Simpro's form builder. You just need to enable this setting on the form and then insert the relevant fields. Like our quote rejected trigger, you can also create different quote statuses and link it to the automatic triggers, which are a quote has been accepted in the customer portal or a quote has been accepted online. So to show you those quickly, under your system setup, under your status codes, we'll come into your triggers. And this is where we can adjust the quote has been approved or a quote has been declined in the customer portal. Also, if you don't want your customer to access any quotes in the portal, this can be done under your defaults, under the customer portal, and under enabled pages, you would unselect these options here. The last quote alert we have is a quote note follow-up. This is triggered when a note has been added to the quote's activity timeline with a follow-up date that falls within the default system alert timeframe. The note must be assigned to you in order to receive the alert. To clear this alert, you must update or remove the due date or click dismiss against the alert. So let's have a look at our quote alerts. So here's the quote note alert. As mentioned previously, these are the only alerts that can be cleared from the Simpro alerts page. So it is important that you action it or take note of it before you dismiss it. We've also got quote due alerts. So we've got 324 and 337. These can be managed in bulk. So we'll go into our open quotes. 324 and 337. Here are the actions we can do in bulk. And here we can change the due date. So I can't action it this month. So let's move it to mid-July and then update. Back in our alerts, we've got quote has been declined. So this one's quite easy. All you do is open the quote and then save and finish it. But please note that although you've done that, it doesn't archive it. So from there, we can then archive it and choose an archive reason to track why we've lost quotes. The last alert we have is the quote has been accepted through the customer portal. So let's open the quote. We'll save and finish it. And then from there, we simply convert it to a job. And that has now cleared our quote alerts. So if a quote progresses to the next stage, it can then be converted to a job, which you saw earlier. And this now brings us to our job alerts. The first alert we have is a job card requires approval. This might also be known as a work order. This alert is triggered when a technician has completed their job card or work order via Simpro Mobile, and it requires approval by admin staff. To clear this alert, you must open the job card, make any amendments if necessary, and click Approve. Now, if you have a lot of job cards that require approval, you can approve them in bulk by navigating to the blue menu bar, clicking on Job Cards. We can put a date range in. And from here, we can select all and approve in bulk. Now, if there are mobile users who do not require a job card review, then you can change this in Setup under your mobile security groups, and you'll open up the relevant group and you'd tick automatically approve job cards to prevent these alerts from appearing in your system. We also have job due alerts. This alert is triggered when a due date has been set for the job, but the job has not been scheduled. This is based on the default system alert timeframe as well. To clear this alert, you must schedule the job, update or remove the due date, or archive the job. Only archive jobs that you do not plan to complete or invoice. Due dates can be updated in bulk as well by using the Select All option at the bottom of the jobs table, adjusting the due date, and then clicking Update. Similar to our quote due dates, we can make or turn this off as a mandatory field under our system defaults. Go to your job section and over to the right, you want to make sure that these are unselected so it does not become a mandatory field on your jobs. Similarly, we also have cost center due alerts. This alert is triggered when a start date has been set for the cost center, but the cost center has not been scheduled. This is also based on the default system alert timeframe. To clear this alert, you must either schedule the cost center, update or remove the start date, or delete the cost center from the job. As mentioned previously, deleting is a permanent action that cannot be undone. So that means any purchase orders, work orders, or schedules on that cost center will be deleted. A cost center start date can be allocated within the cost center in the settings tab, or if you use the Gantt chart in that job. Job response time alerts. This alert is triggered when a response time has been allocated to the job and is overdue or due within the default system alert timeframe. To clear this alert, you must schedule the job within the response time period or update or remove the response time from the job. You can view response time KPIs on the service dashboard, and you can also run a response times report to view all jobs that have response times allocated. The next job alert we have is a job note follow-up. This is triggered when a note has been added to the job's activity timeline with a follow-up date that falls within the default system alert timeframe. Again, this note must be assigned to you in order to receive the alert. To clear this alert, you can either update or remove the due date or click Dismiss against the alert. Remember, notes are the only alerts that can be cleared from the alerts page, so it is important that you action it or take note of it before you dismiss it. Now, this next job alert is only applicable to those Simpro users who are paying for the Maintenance Planner add-on. When an asset has been tested and marked as failed, this alert will be triggered. To clear the alert, you must open it and tick the assets, and you've got the option of either creating a rectification quote, clicking Do Not Prompt Again, or clicking Do Not Prompt Again for an X amount of days. If you select this last option, then this will appear in your alerts again after the specified number of days. This alert is designed to track important values of assets. Continued dismissal of this alert can lead to workflow gaps and asset repairs or replacements being missed. Staying on the topic of assets, we have an Assets to be created alert. You may have catalogue items that are marked as an asset. This could be a smoke alarm, an air conditioning unit, a backflow prevention device, or a fire extinguisher. If your default setting for stock to customer asset create stage is set to allocation to job, then this alert will be triggered once you allocate the catalog item to a job. Click on the alert to action and add the asset to the site associated to the job. To dismiss without creating an asset, click the alert and immediately click Finish. Simpro will then prompt you to create unselected assets at a later time, which you will then click No. Please note that if you untick the asset attribute on the catalog item, it will not clear the alert. So this one, if we come into a catalog item and open an item up, that is the asset attribute. And this works in conjunction with the system default setting, stock to customer asset create stage, whether this alert is triggered once you allocate the asset to the job, allocate the catalog item to the job, or receipt it on a PO. And the last job alert we have is regarding retention claims, also known as retainage. This alert is triggered if a job was created with retention and the specified time period since job completion has now passed. This time period may also be known as a defects liability period. To clear this alert, you must create the retention claim invoice. Please note that you are unable to delete or archive retention. So if you want to clear this alert, you can create the retention claim, but you do not need to send this transaction to your accounting package. On the accounts integration interface within Simpro, you may tick this retention invoice and then click Mark as exported. What I might do is jump into a job that has retention. So just so you know, the retention claim due date is calculated from your retention settings on the job. It's looking at the period and it's also looking at the completed date. If the alert has come up too soon and you want to change when it is due, you can come into this section here and then you can either update the period or the defects liability period, or you can push out the completed date. Okay, so here we have a range of job alerts. We'll start off with retention. So once we click on that alert, from here, we can review the retention to be claimed. Finish that and send it off. Here we've got 3 asset failures. So let's click on that alert. From here, I can select those and create a rectification quote, or I can say don't prompt again or don't prompt again for a few more months. So if I say don't prompt again for another 6 months and click on that, I'll no longer receive those alerts for another 6 months. Here we've got a response time. So this one here, we can either schedule it or if that's no longer required, we can come into the job under the settings and we can remove that response time. We've got a job is due but not scheduled. So what we want to do here is open that job. We could remove the due date if we wanted to and save and finish. Next up, we've got a note, remembering these are the only ones you can dismiss from this page. So again, ensure that you actually action it or take note of it before you hit dismiss. If this is something you want to be prompted later on down the track, well, you can open the note and we can bring that date forward. Here we've got a cost center is due but not scheduled. So for this one, I might schedule this one. Let's schedule it to myself. Close that down and save it. So that's cleared out the cost center alerts. Here's our assets to be created. So we can click on that. We can select the asset and then fill in the remaining details. And hit finish. Oh, we've got a mandatory field. Okay, and lastly, we've got our job card needs to be approved. So from here, we'll review the technician's notes, fix any spelling errors, any times, and then we can approve it. And there's our job alert, cleared. Now let's take a look at purchase order alerts. We only have one alert for this, and it is when a purchase order has a due date set and a receipt has not been added against the purchase order. The My Alerts view will display purchase orders that you have created, whereas all alerts will display all purchase orders regardless of who created it. To clear this alert, you can update or remove the purchase order due date or receipt the purchase order. Only receipt the purchase order if you have received those items or the supplier invoice. So let's have a look at that alert. Here's our order. So coming to the order, let's say that I have received this. So we'll come into receipts, create the receipt and put our invoice number in and invoice date and click finish. So that's indicating that I have now received those orders and that PO alert has now removed itself. So ultimately, this alert enables you to manage accurate delivery times and potentially explore alternative solutions to fulfill the order. We also have a useful report you can run to show all items that have been ordered but have not been received yet. This is called the back orders report, which can be found under your supplier reports. Next, we have a supplier invoice alert. This is also known as vendor invoices. This alert is similar to the job assets to be created alert. If your default setting for stock to customer asset create stage is set to receiving of order, then this alert will be triggered once a catalog item has been ordered and receipted. So to remind you again, under defaults, this is now looking at this setting, but it is when it is based on receiving of order. So if we go into our alerts, you can now see I've got an asset to be created. So previously I created the asset, but to dismiss it without creating an asset, you'll click the alert. You then immediately click finish. Let me just choose a location. You immediately click finish. Then you get this prompt. Would you like to create unselected assets at a later time? So here I'll say no. And coming to our alerts, I no longer have that supplier invoice alert. The next lot of alerts I'll be going through are related to your customers. First up, we have a prepaid contract expiring alert as highlighted in the screenshot. This alert is triggered if prepaid time has been purchased and not used by the expiration date. To clear this alert, you must use the remaining hours that were purchased or change the expiration date. Some useful reports to manage prepaid time include the prepaid time expiry report and the prepaid time outstanding report. The next customer alert we have is a customer note follow-up. This is very similar to all previous note alerts that I have been going through. This alert is triggered when a note has been added to the customer card file with a follow-up date that falls within the default system alert timeframe. The note must be assigned to you in order to receive the alert. To clear this alert, you must update or remove the follow-up date or click dismiss against the alert. The next two alerts are related to customer contracts. The first type of alert is regarding contract expiry. This is triggered when a customer contract has been created with an end date and is set to expire within the default system alert timeframe. To clear this alert, you can renew the contract, expire the contract, or update or remove the expiry date. A list of your contracts can be found by running the customer contracts report. The second type of alert is regarding contract value. This is triggered when the value of jobs assigned to a customer contract has exceeded the set value of the contract. To clear this alert, you can increase the contract value or remove the contract value or assign the jobs to a different customer or customer contract. Only do the last option if these jobs are outside the customer contract. You can measure your contract P&L by running the contract profitability report. This displays the contract value, invoice value, costs, and P&L. So let's have a look at our customer alerts. Okay, so here we have a note. Here we can dismiss that note or we can open it. Let's say we don't want to call a customer back, so we can remove the follow-up date and save that. The next lot is regarding the contracts. So we've got one saying that it has exceeded the contract value. So from here, I can, which one was it? Sydney Hospital yearly contract. So from here, I can open it. I can remove the value or I can increase the value. And then we also have a contract to be expired. So with these ones, you can renew it, expire it, remove it, or you can open up the contract and remove the date. So for this one, I might renew it. New date being 1st of July 2025 and create. So that's now brought the expired contract below and the renewed contract up the top here. Now with the prepaid contracts, I can dismiss that or I can come into the customer under rates, under prepaid time, and then I can forward date this. So let's move it to 2025 and save and finish. So these various customer alerts are important to manage as it enhances customer satisfaction, it ensures compliance with those contracts, and allows you to reach out to the customer to renew them on time. All of this leads to protected revenue and long-term customer relationships. Now on to stock. The stock running low alert is particularly useful for procurement managers or those businesses who manage their inventory in Simpro. This ensures your warehouse, vehicles, etc. are always stocked, ensuring operational efficiency. This alert is triggered when the quantity of required materials has fallen below the minimum required. When you click on the storage device, you have an option to click restock. From here, the alert can be cleared by creating a purchase order for those items or transferring stock from another storage device. You can also clear this alert by changing or removing the minimum quantity for that item for that storage device. If you do not require stock alerts, then you can clear these in bulk by using a stock levels and location CSV import. What you'll need to do is change the minimum level and restock level to 0, then import this into Simpro to clear the alerts. So here's our stock alerts. We can see that stock is running low. It requires some quantities. So when we click on the storage device, I can click restock. Here's our options on how we want to restock it. So we can restock it via a PO or start off with a supplier quote, or we can get it transferred from another storage device. So I'll come into the purchase order and restock it. And you'll notice it has already increased my quantities to what I require and click finish. Coming back to my stock alerts, they have now been removed. If you would like to set restock levels, you can come into your stock area. You can go to your storage device and click on stock levels. Let's say you don't want these alerts anymore, so then we can just zero them out. And then we can save and finish. Moving on to task alerts. The first task alert we have is a task due alert as highlighted in the screenshot. This alert is triggered when a task has passed its due date that falls within the system alert timeframe. To clear this alert, you can change the due date, remove the due date, or change the task status to a closed status. This can also be done in bulk. So let's come into my Simpro, into our alerts. So here we've got tasks that are past the due date. Let's come into our tasks. Click the task that we want to update. Let's say we have completed them. So from here, we can change the status to closed and then click update. The second task alert we have is a task has not started as highlighted in the screenshot. This alert is triggered when a pending task has passed its start date that falls within the default system alert timeframe. To clear this alert, you can change the start date, remove the start date, or change the task status from the pending status. Coming back into Simpro, we've got alerts where tasks have not started. So we can select them and we can change the status to active. We are now working on them. And when we come into our alerts, those task statuses have now disappeared. So it is important to not let your task alerts grow, as you might miss some urgent or important tasks that have been assigned to you. Employee license expiry alerts. This alert is triggered when the license is set to expire on a certain date. The expiry alert timeframe can be adjusted per license. To clear this alert, you either change the expiry date or expire the license by removing the expiry date and adding expired into the description and creating a brand new license. If a license expires and is marked as critical, Simpro will prevent the employee or contractor from being scheduled. You can use Simpro's notification feature to automatically send an email to the employee or contractor when their license is about to expire. This is one of the most crucial alerts to manage for several reasons. Firstly, it ensures legal compliance. Failing to renew these licenses on time results in legal consequences or fines to your business. It ensures risk management. Employees or contractors who work without a valid license pose a risk to your business and customers. And lastly, liability. If the license has expired and has not been renewed or updated, your business may be held liable for any damages or legal issues that arise from employees not possessing updated licenses. So in Simpro, here we have a working at heights that has expired. So from here, I can then just move that date forward. And then I can also upload a updated license in here. Update. Here we've got a driver's license and white card, so let's action those ones. If it has expired, recommend coming into here and noting that it has expired. And removing the due date, the expiry date. Then from here, we can add a new license. And putting a new expiry date on that. Into our white card, we'll just move that one forward. And update. Coming back to our alerts, they have now been removed. Moving on to plant and equipment alerts. This will alert you when a plant item is due for servicing. This alert is triggered when a plant item is due for servicing on a certain date or is due for servicing as it has reached the scheduled hours. To clear this alert, you can add a service, change the service date, or change the service hours, whichever is applicable for that item. If the plant item does not require servicing, open the item and untick I wish to service this item. So let's jump into Simpro. We've got 2 date alerts, so I can open that. And let's say I don't want to service it anymore, so I can just untick I wish to service this item. Alternatively, I can come into the item and I can add a new service. Let's say I service that 1st of June. I can track any hours and the cost of that service along with any notes. For these last 2, so this is based off scheduled hours. So for this one, I can change the hours from here. Or I can add a service. So ignoring your plant equipment service alerts leads to missed services, resulting in decreased plant performance and safety and also increasing maintenance costs. And finally, the last alert we have is related to data feeds, when a feed has failed to process and requires customer input. This alert is triggered when the feed has failed to automatically process as it is missing one or more data fields. To clear this alert, you'll click the event ID, go to data feed, and then review and update the missing fields. As with all other alerts, this is also important to manage as you don't want Simpro to miss new feeds, which may lead to missed jobs, quotes, supplier invoices, and more. If you notice that the same feed continues to fail, you may need to look at the setup of that feed to ensure it is configured correctly. So lucky last, we want to open up the event ID. As we can see, there is not enough data to process the feed as it is missing site. So let's open that up. And that loads. Let's try that again. Come down to the site and we'll allocate a site. And you can fill in other info as required, and we'll save and process that feed. And that wraps up our webinar on Simpro Alerts. I hope this has given you insight as to why it is important to effectively manage your Simpro Alerts and to reduce alert fatigue. To put it simply, effective management of your Simpro Alerts enhances customer satisfaction, ensures compliance, protects or increases revenue generation, and maintains operational efficiency. Should you need further assistance, we have our help guides and our help desk available to address any questions, concerns, or comments you may have. Thank you and have a great day.